Hello, welcome to episode 104 of the Craft House Magic podcast. My name's Ellie and I'm coming to you from Norwich in Norfolk in the UK, and today is the 21st of February. So welcome everybody. I hope you've all had a lovely crafty week since the last time I've spoken to you, and I'm here to share all the things that I've been making in the last 7 days. So today I have some knitting, some sewing, a couple of questions from the Ask Me Anything thread and some confessions. I don't have a shop update info this week. I'm going to leave it till next week because I'm going to be away for most of next week at the knitting retreat that Julie from Suffolk Socks has organised. I will have some footage that I'll either put as a separate video or at the end of next week's podcast, so watch out for that. You can find me on Instagram, Ravelry and Facebook as Craft House Magic, and I have my own website, crafthhousemagic.co.uk, where you can find my show notes for the podcast as well as my online shop where I sell my handmade project bags, hand-dyed yarn, stitch markers and higher knitting needles. So I have 2 make-alongs going on at the moment. The Retro Mal is in the Ravelry group and it's all things retro and it can be any craft. So that goes till the end of March, so you've got plenty of time to join in. And we also have the Right Around the Corner shawl knit along, which is in the Ravelry group but also on Instagram, and you can use the hashtag Right Around the Corner shawl, CHMKAL, if you want to join in there. And there's some beautiful versions of the shawl and it's such a lovely simple knit. And somebody was saying that they can read at the same time as knitting it, so that was brilliant. I do like the idea of multitasking. So don't forget about those make-alongs. So let's get into the good stuff. So first of all, I've got some knitting, and to be honest, I've been working on one project this week. It's been a bit monogamous. This is my shawl that I've been knitting on. So this is the Adventina shawl by Katrin Schubert, and it's all rolled up and I think it looks really cute like that. So I'll undo it and show you how I've got along. So since last week I have knitted from the stitch markers there, so I've done quite a lot, but it's just been monogamous basically. And most of these, so there's 3 different sort of natural shades there. They're all from my Flourish Fibres advent calendar I had at Christmas, or for Advent really, and then I popped in a few other minis that I had lying around. This actually I dyed myself and I might make that a proper colourway. But I hadn't got it in the shop as yet. But I do like that, so I might actually make that a proper colourway. I need to think of a name for it though as well. Hopefully you can see that. So I've done quite a bit this week, but literally monogamous knitting on this really. So I shall show you the rest of the shawl. Or wrap, I should say. And it starts with this sort of purples, goes into pinks. And then I've got this lovely yellow section, which I absolutely love. And then it goes into sort of browns. And then purples. And then into blues and greens. So, love the way the colours change. And I do recommend this as a type of an Advent sort of project. If I actually measure it on my arm, so I always think from my shoulder to the end of my fingers is about 1 metre. So that's 1 metre. 2 metres. So I'd say nearly 3 metres. So all I've got left to go in my shawl now is this little one that I've been working on, and that's one of the Flourish Fibres minis, and then this last one that's sort of pale blues. I can't actually remember where I got this from, but it was out of my minis stash that I've got in the little basket behind me, and I thought that went really well. And that is literally all the minis that I laid out all in the egg boxes just before Christmas. So I can't believe I'm so close to finishing it. I'm going to try and finish it before I go to the retreat so that I can wear it, and then I'll start something else that's quite simple, I think, rather than having to focus on something, but we shall see. So that's my Adventina shawl. And I've been doing some sewing over the weekend. So Barbara, would you like to come through and show us what I've been making? So this is some beautiful fabric that I picked up from Plush Addict just a couple of weeks ago, I think, and it's already made up. So not in my stash, which is most important. So this is the fabric that I got from Plush Addict, and it's a jersey fabric, and it's a really nice lightweight cotton. So I thought I have to make this up as quickly as possible. I thought that it might be a bit too much with this print all over the arms as well, so I've put some just plain black jersey for the arms, because I think that that balances it out nicely, and it goes with the swallows that are in like a black print over the little clouds. And the pattern that I've used is a Frankie again. I'm addicted to using the Frankie pattern from Tilly and the Buttons. And I decided this time to do a 3/4 length sleeve, just because I thought that I just fancied doing a 3/4 length sleeve, to be honest, because I've got quite a lot of short sleeve ones now. And I've done the Frankie quite a lot. It's actually this pattern that I'm wearing now. This is a short sleeve version, so I thought that would be lovely. I actually had I'd been looking on Pinterest, and there was a couple of people that had actually put a print with just black sleeves, and I thought that looks really, really nice. If you haven't watched the podcast before, if you don't, or you don't remember me talking about the Frankie t-shirt before, but I did actually change the neckline, because the Frankie t-shirt neckline is a really high neck, and it didn't really suit me when I put the first one that I made on. So I then made the neckline lower, and what I did is, so I made the first one with the higher neckline, decided it was too high, and I laid the top flat on the table, and I put the pattern pieces for the Agnes top, which is also a Tilly and the Buttons pattern, over the top, and just marked round the neckline where I needed to cut it lower, and then just cut the neckline to the normal Agnes style pattern, and I used the Agnes neck piece to do the neckline then as well. And then, because I'd cut pieces off the original top I'd made of the Frankie, I then modified the pattern pieces so that they all have the Agnes neckline, which I really like. I much prefer it to the higher one. And I just love this fabric, so there we go. I didn't bother about fussy cutting exactly where the birds have gone, but actually they've turned out in quite a nice place. I think it's sort of over the shoulder blade. We've got some swallows there. Love this fabric. Let me push that back a bit so you can see it. So the Frankie t-shirt has sort of a lowered back bit here, so it goes over your bum a little bit, which I absolutely love. And I think because it's a slighter, looser fit, it's quite flattering over the tummy. So that's my sewing for this week. Thank you very much, Barbara. So I've got some questions from the Ask Me Anything thread. So LA Makes was saying, are there any craft related places to visit in North Norfolk? And they're staying in Wells next to the sea in the next couple of months. So I've made a list of all the places that I sort of like to go and visit when I go to North Norfolk. So in Sheringham there's a lovely little craft shop called Owl Tree Crafts, which has got a nice range of fabrics and some yarns as well there too. I especially like it because they do some nice Liberty fabrics I like to go and pop in and have a look at. There's another yarn shop at the top of the hill in Sheringham called Creative Crafts. There's not as big a range of stuff there, but it's always worth a look. I especially like going to Blakeney because there's like a community hall which often does like arts and crafts little shows. It's not very big, but they quite often have some really lovely stuff to look at there. So I don't know, we normally go at the weekend, so I don't know if they do it all the way through the week, but well worth a look there. In Cromer there's a yarn shop called Woolen Crafts, and I have popped in there a couple of times when we visited Cromer, and I do know that they do quite a nice range of commercial yarns and lots of other little sewing bits, so that's quite a nice interesting thing to look at. And if you're looking for a yarn shop, I think the best one in sort of Norwich and North Norfolk area is actually in Norwich itself, called Norfolk Yarn, and they sell quite a nice range of commercial yarns, but they're quite posh stuff, so it's nice, you can get yourself a nice treat. So I hope that's of help to you. I have put a list of these things in the Ravelry group Ask Me Anything as a reply to LA Makes, so you can pop there and have a look at the list if you want to. So the second question is from Knitting Susie, and she asks, if I could only do one craft for the rest of my life, and only that one craft, what would it be? Now this is so difficult, absolutely so difficult, but I tend to do quite a lot of knitting and sewing, but I think what I'd have to say is sewing, because sewing covers dressmaking and quilting as well. So that's kind of cheating, isn't it? But I think I'd go for sewing. I don't know. I think that I'd find it really difficult not to knit though. That's the trouble. I definitely have to do some crafts. I couldn't live without it. It'd be awful. Oh my goodness, what would happen? So it's not a particularly good answer, I'm afraid, Susie, but I did try. So kind of sewing. So I just have some confessions now to show you. I was very naughty, so I've been really getting into looking on sort of Pinterest for ideas of garments to make, and also to think about, right, what fabrics am I going to do my Make 9 targets with. And I accidentally went on Minerva Crafts, bought some more fabric. So I am a big fan of art gallery fabrics, so I was on there and I thought, I need this fabric, and if you've noticed I'm wearing the same print but in a different colourway. So I needed this one just to sort of, just because I love this so much, and I thought, oh, what will happen if it wears out? So I have to buy some more in a different colourway just to fill that gap. So that, again, this is called Tiny Dancer, I think, and it's an art gallery fabrics. This is a jersey base, and it's a cotton jersey, and it's a really nice soft material. It is quite expensive though, so I did only get 1 metre, so I could make either a short sleeve top or one with contrast sleeves with this one. I picked up another art gallery fabric, and I just thought this was gorgeous. Look at them colours. Well, there's just like one really, because cream doesn't really count, does it? But isn't that beautiful? And it's lovely and soft. I've never actually had one of the stripy prints from art gallery fabrics before, and it does seem a little bit softer than the actual ones that have the print in. Really excited to make that up. I was thinking that I'd make one of the Romy tops from Tilly and the Buttons with this. So there's a plan. I'm not quite sure what pattern I'm going to do with this, because this is a Frankie, but do I want to make the same pattern with the same print? I don't know, we'll see. It's different enough though, maybe. And finally I've got myself some Cobra corsage material, which, oh, I love it. It's got snakes and beetles and butterflies on it. Absolutely love this material. I'll show you the other side because I've got it folded up. I just thought that would be so much fun. This is a Lady McElroy fabric, and this is a jersey, but it's a crepe texture. So there is I don't know whether you'll be able to see the crepe texture on camera, but it's got a slight crepe texture to the surface of the jersey, and it's also cotton. You can just about see me through it, so it's quite a nice light one. So I thought I'd actually make a short sleeve t-shirt with this, maybe one that's got slightly flouncy sleeves on to make it a bit dressier. I don't know, because it is black, maybe not a sort of daytime fabric if it's a holiday top. I shall see what I'm going to do later. I did actually order another fabric, but they sent me the wrong one, so I've sent it back today. So hopefully they'll send me the right one, and I can show you that next week. I also had some beautiful yarn in the post yesterday, and it's from my lovely friend Hayley, who's from Ducky Darlings, who sent me these gorgeous, gorgeous minis, and they are representative of Star Trek, and they are called Make It So Minis. I thought that was brilliant. So Adam is into Star Trek in a big way, so I'll be having to make him some socks out of those. And I think that these colours represent the uniforms that they wear. I think blue is normally the medical people. Engineering is like a mustardy yellow, and then red is like the commanding officers wear those. So that's going to be brilliant. Thank you so much, Hayley. Adam's going to love them. He does love a pair of knitted socks as well. He's very, very knit worthy. I think that's everything for today. Yes, it is. So watch out for next week's podcast. I should have either a separate video or put some footage of the end of our lovely retreat that we're going on next week. That should be so much fun, and the venue, it looks gorgeous as well, so I shall get some footage of that so you can see where we've been staying. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I shall see you in the next podcast. Bye!